आरएस जंक्शन चैनल पे आपका स्वागत है। आज हम बजट के बारे में बात करेंगे। बजट 2024-25 जो अभी पेश किया गया है, तो इसमें जो है वो क्या प्रोविजंस हैं, किस तरीके से आप इनका यूटिलाइजेशन कर सकते हैं। आंसर राइटिंग हो चाहे वो अपनी पर्सनल अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो, इनको बढ़ाने में हम किस तरीके से इसका यूटिलाइजेशन कर सकते हैं। तो पहले हम अगर स्टार्ट करें तो देखिए, की फीचर्स के बारे में अगर मैं देखूं तो जो की फीचर्स हैं उसमें 4 चीज़ों के ऊपर ज़्यादा जोर दिया गया है। एक तो है गरीब जो कि पुअर, अन्नदाता जो कि फार्मर, युवा जो कि यूथ, और महिलाएं जो कि वीमेन। अगर बजट की थीम के बारे में बात करें तो बजट की थीम जो है वो 4 चीज़ों में फोकस करती है: एम्प्लॉयमेंट, स्किलिंग, माइक्रो स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस और मिडिल क्लास। तो अगर मैं बात करूं एम्प्लॉयमेंट के ऊपर, तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट जो है वो क्यों जरूरी हो जाता है। आपको ये बताएं कि एम्प्लॉयमेंट जो है इंडिया की रिक्वायरमेंट, अभी यूथ की एक टॉप मोस्ट रिक्वायरमेंट के रूप में सामने आ रहा है। अगर मैं ग्रोथ के बारे में देखूं तो ग्रोथ जो है वो 2 तरीके की होती है, एक तो जॉबलेस ग्रोथ और एक जॉब फुल ग्रोथ। ग्रोथ के बेनिफिट अगर ट्रिकल डाउन होकर के जॉब्स जनरेट करते हैं उसी इलास्टिसिटी में, तो वो जो ग्रोथ है वो जॉबफुल ग्रोथ कही जाती है। जॉबलेस ग्रोथ जो है इंडिया ने काफी देखी है, चाहे वो 8 to 9% हमारी जो ग्रॉस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट है, जो कि जीडीपी जिसको कहा जाता है, दैट जीडीपी एक्चुअली हैज ग्रोन at 8 to 9%, but it has not provided the jobs in the relative manner. So that is why actually it is creating a trouble. So employment is the necessary theme on which there has been a greater emphasis. The second emphasis that has been given is skilling. When we look at the skilling part, India has the employable people in a lesser number. Despite the youth population being in larger number, industry or the cooperative or the corporation sector always want to employ people with the skillful set. So when the skills are in reduced number or skilled people are in lesser quantity, then it creates an own set of challenges that those people actually are ready to be provided jobs, but they cannot be employed. Number third is MSME sector, micro, small, medium enterprises, and then is the middle class. So we will see what has been done. So the priorities for Vikshit Bharat include productivity and resilience in agriculture. So productivity means increasing the yield per hectare or per hectare of the population with a similar set of inputs. What are the inputs for agriculture? Seeds, water, fertilizer, and other sort of things are called inputs. So for the same input or for the same actually land area, if we can get better yields, then it does mean that the productivity of the agriculture has increased. So we are trying to promote actually productivity through this manner. Now the second is resilience in agriculture. As you see, the climate related situation or the climate related crisis are affecting agriculture big way. Second is also the larger population levels. Larger population levels are also causing a crisis in the agriculture domain. That's why to promote resiliency and productivity in agriculture, we are taking several steps. Transforming agriculture research, and for that we are taking principal care towards research. There is a comprehensive review of the agriculture research setup to bring focus on raising productivity and developing climate resilient varieties. You must have heard that climate resilient varieties are actually those varieties of the seeds or inputs which can bear the climatic or adverse climatic effect. So that will be produced by providing research to these kind of things. Then comes Atmanirbharta, self-reliance. How to do that? So for oil seeds such as mustard, groundnut, sesame, or soybean and sunflower, we want to achieve self-reliance. And why self-reliance is necessary? Because India has been bearing the effect of number one, demand. Higher demand are actually creating the inflationary pressure across the globe in oil seeds. Second is, when you are dependent for your oil requirement on other countries, it does create a kind of negative demand or supply situation in your own economy. And third is, when your own farmer or own farming community is indulged into several production channels which are serial based and grain based, but when they are not doing it for oil channels, then actually the lot of forex outgo that also happens. Lot of foreign money or foreign currencies actually outflows, and that is also not healthy for our economy. And that's why we are trying to achieve self reliance in this particular oil seed market. Third is the National Cooperation Policy. National Cooperation Policy of 2002 defines cooperatives as a self-help, as a kind of organization where everyone actually voluntarily comes along. So what they are trying to do is, for systematic, orderly and all-round development of the cooperative sector, there will be a national cooperation policy that will be launched soon, and there will be a lot of benefit actually to the cooperative sector, so that the cooperative sector can play a greater role in the growth and developmental journey of our country. Why the cooperative sector also becomes necessary? Because of number one, cooperative are basically those voluntary or organization of those voluntary people who are either dependent on smaller economic activities. They may be having the problems of the credit, and that's why the cooperative actually can help them to expand their own production. Number third is, cooperative also are struggling with the administrative apathy that is also being sorted out in the national cooperation policy. Then the fourth one is vegetable production and supply chain. You must have heard that vegetable production is not only income generative for farmers, but also take part in the supply chain also. Promotion of farmer producer organizations. You must know farmer producer organizations are a collective group actually which can promote their bargaining power. Bargaining power means when there is an individual farmer, he may not have that bargaining power in the market regarding his sale of the produce, etc., or to get the credit from the market. But when these farmers actually will work as a unison, then it will become a kind of collective bargaining chip for them, and that's why promotion of FPOs is being done. Cooperatives and startups for vegetable supply chains for collection, storage and marketing. You must know that lot of time actually we also face the problem of vegetable inflation, and lot of time you must also see that vegetables actually are wasted like anything because of the lesser prices that they attract. To deal with these kind of issues, now vegetable supply chains through cooperatives, farmer producer organizations and startups will be taken into consideration, and this can be a very big step actually to sort out the problem of somewhere sometime the tomato, onion, potatoes prices increase, sometimes the fruits and vegetable prices increase, and sometimes they go west like anything. They are actually lying on the roadside many of the time because of the want of a good prices. That's why this step is being taken. Then release of new varieties. What are the release of new varieties? 109 new yielding varieties and climate resilient varieties of 32 field and horticulture crops will also be released for cultivation by farmers. So why it is necessary? It is necessary because if you have those seed varieties which are climate resilient and high yielding, then your agriculture production will move up. Agriculture production in the same land holding will definitely move up, and it can be good for the farmers and at last good for our country. Then natural farming is also being promoted. As you know, natural farming is that practice of farming where the inputs actually are used in a very sustainable manner. Input to the agriculture will be used in sustainable manner, and traditional methods also will be taken care of. So traditional method of farming not only reduces the effect of climate but also can sort out the pollution related problems with the agriculture. As we know, because of we are putting more fertilizers into agriculture, the use of fertilizer is not only polluting our soil but is also causing certain carcinogenic effect in the population that is eating those produce. So natural farming is also one of the another step. 1 crore farmers across the country will be taken into consideration for natural farming, and certification and branding actually will also be done for those production, because it is also necessary to sell those products through some sort of branding. Why? Because natural farming will be producing some sort of products but for that particular produce we require a branding also, so that branding in 2 years will come into picture. Then bio input resource centers will also be established. What are these bio input resources? So whatever the biological input to the agriculture or farming can be provided, these can be taken into consideration by these. So suppose we want to buy a good fertilizer, that is traditional or natural fertilizer, these bio input resource center actually may provide us. So close to 10,000 need based bio input resource centers will come into picture. Then comes shrimp production and export. Financing for shrimp farming, processing and export will be facilitated through NABARD. So shrimp production is also being taken into consideration. Then we come to the next one, and that is digital public infrastructure in agriculture. You must have seen how our digital footprints, be in Aadhaar or in UPI or in other sector like health, etc., are now giving a rich dividend to our country. Rich dividend in the sense that not only we have reduced actually the cost associated, but we have also increased the convenience. We have also increased actually, the amount of leakage protection. So the amount of leakage actually that was used to happen earlier has reduced, and that's why the leakage protection has gone up. So this digital production or this digital public infrastructure is now going to be taken care in the agriculture sector also. So DPI for coverage of farmers and then lands in 3 years. There will be crop survey that will be done through digitally in 400 districts, and issuance of Jan Samarth based Kisan credit cards. Lot of time actually the Kisan credit cards are allotted, but to make this process far more seamless and integrated and some sort of convenient for farmers, these will all be taken care by the digital public infrastructure, and it's a welcome step to make agriculture a technologically dependent and technologically enabled thing. Then we come on to the priorities for Viksit Bharat in employment and skilling. So what is employment and skilling? I told you why employment is needed and why skilling is also necessary. India is a deficient in the skilling, as we know that industry require the population to achieve some sort of talent plus skill. Vocational skill in our country is absent, and the market is informal also. So the vocational training is absolutely very lacking in our country, because the training institutes have not mushroomed to a level where they can provide skill into a very productive manner. That's why what we are trying to do is Prime Minister's package of 3 schemes for employment linked incentive, where government will reimburse EPFO contributions to the employers up to 3,000 rupees per month for 2 years for all new hires. So those companies actually can always look to hire more employees, because their EPFO contribution will be taken care, part of the EPFO contribution will be taken care by the government itself. So there will be lesser burden on those companies. Then it is expected to generate around 50 lakh jobs, because when there is a lesser pressure about the EPFO related benefits on the employers, then it is expected to generate far more jobs, because then the companies will not be fearing that if we provide more extra jobs, then who will take care of their EPFO contributions. Second is one-time wage to new entrants in all formal sectors in 3 installments up to 15,000 rupees. Also, that is expected to benefit around 210 lakh youth. So this is also being done. And then another one is linked to the first-time employees, incentives to both employee and employer for EPFO contributions in the specified scales for first 4 years, and that is expected to be benefiting around 30 lakh youth. So somewhere around 3 crore youths will be benefited from the Prime Minister's skill that is being provided as a part of package. Then we come on to the next one, and that is skilling program. So skilling program where 20 lakh youth will be skilled over a 5-year period. 1,000 industrial training institute, we call it ITI. So 1,000 ITIs will be upgraded in hub and spoke arrangement within outcome orientation. Means outcome of those ITIs will also be taken into consideration while granting them the status. So that is another thing. Then course content and design alignment with the skills of the industry. You must have heard that there is a industry academia collaboration that is always talked about in the skilling part. So industry specific curriculum will be designed by these skilled people, and that will be taught and given practical experience to the students. So that's why course content and design aligned can be done as per part of the skill needs of the industry. Then comes another one, that is facilitating higher participation of women in the workforce through setting up of working women hostels in collaboration with the industry. So working women hostels. Why? So that the congenial environment can be provided to the women, so that the employment level of women can be improved. Loans up to 7.5 lakh rupees will be guaranteed from a government promoted fund, and it is also expected to benefit 25,000 students. So loan is also being provided. Financial support for loans up to 10 lakh rupees for higher education in domestic institutions. Direct e-vouchers to 1 lakh students will also be provided. So these are all part of your skilling. So when you are writing answers, you can mention, these kind of points, that, or the question can be asked in this format, that skilling has been a major area of concern in this kind of, or attention in this kind of budget. So in this budget, what steps have been taken? So you can also write it. Then comes the another one, that is priorities for Viksit Bharat to develop inclusive human resources. So inclusive human resources, development and social justice. Purvodaya. Purvodaya means in eastern part, we are trying to achieve some levels of development. So Purvodaya. So in this one, the development will be done with heritage or with ancient, preserving the ancient culture and the heritage. So Vikas bhi and Virasat bhi. Plan for endowment rich states in the eastern parts covering Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh for generation of economic opportunities to attain Viksit Bharat. Amritsar Kolkata industrial corridor will be developed with an industrial node at Gaya. So we are trying to improve the condition of our eastern parts of the country. Then allocation of more than 3 lakh crore rupees for schemes that will be benefiting women and girls. So this is also being done, in which 3 lakh crore rupees will be provided to generate schemes, or to provide those programs where the women actually can get benefits. प्रधानमंत्री जनजातीय प्रधानमंत्री जनजातीय उन्नत ग्राम अभियान योजना, and that is to improve the socio-economic condition of the tribal communities, and it will be covering around 63,000 villages over the course of next year to improve the condition of 5 crore tribal people. More than 100 branches of India Post Payments Bank. You must know that payments bank actually are small banks which fill in the gaps at the remote areas about the financial inclusion. So financial inclusion, that is a new theory to bring those people sitting at the last corner of the society into the mainstream of the development. The financial inclusion is being talked about, and to achieve the financial inclusion, payments bank also are being set up. So 100 branches of India Post Payments Bank will be set up in the northeastern region. So that's why the northeastern people who are sitting at the remotest corner of the country can become part of the mainstream society. They can receive and send money at their own will as and when it is required. So this will not only actually bring them into the financial channels, but will also improve their business models also. Then comes Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act and financial support that we are trying to give to 15,000 crore rupees will be arranged in fiscal year 24-25. Completion of Polavaram irrigation project, actually that will increase the food security of our country. How the food security of our country can be achieved? So food security is basically accessibility, availability and affordability of particular food crop, and that is called the food security. So to achieve food security, Polavaram irrigation project will be completed in Andhra Pradesh. Essential infrastructure such as water, power, railways and roads in Koparthi node of the Visakhapatnam Chennai industrial corridor and Orvakal a node of the Hyderabad Bengaluru industrial corridor will also be developed. So these are the things actually which are being done in the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, or the fulfillment of that particular Reorganization Act. Now we come on to the another one, that is priorities for Viksit Bharat in the manufacturing and services. So credit guarantee scheme will be provided to not only facilitate the collateral free loan, but also provide them the better credit facility. So when they have a better credit facility, they will have the working capital into their hands, and when the working capital is in their hand, they can utilize it to not only expand their own channels, but also to employ more people and to produce more. When the production happens, then the potential for export also increase, and when the export actually increase, then the country's foreign exchanges reserves will swell, and it will control also the inflationary practices those are prevalent in our country. There will be manufacturing sector new assessment model for MSME credit. Then the third is mudra loans, and in this Tarun category mudra loans, the limit will be raised from 10 to 20 lakh, means it will be doubled. Then credit support to MSMEs during stress period will also be provided. There is a provision of enhanced scope for the mandatory onboarding in the trade related discount schemes. Mind you, trade related discount scheme is basically from which that MSMEs can use the discounts given by the large organizations to fulfill their working capital requirement. MSME units for food irradiation quality and safety testing will also be done. So this is being done to promote manufacturing through the MSMEs. Then 12 industrial parks under the National Industrial Corridor actually will also be National Industrial Corridor Development Program, NICDP, will also be set up. Then comes another one, and that is rental housing with dormitory type of accommodation. Rental housing with dormitory type of accommodation for industrial workers in public-private partnership mode will be done through viable gap funding model. We must know that the rental housing is an area of concern for the industrial workers. Industrial workers actually do not live in a livable conditions. Their homes are either away from the industrial setups, or their homes are in a very patchy condition. To remove that kind of thing, rental housing will be taken care of, and some dormitory kind of rental housing will be developed for them, or will be taken into consideration, that can, number one, reduce the cost of their living, plus also can provide them better living conditions with better transport facility. So that's why their transportation requirement or their residential requirement can be met. So this is also being taken into consideration. Then there is a critical mineral mission for domestic production, recycling, and overseas acquisition. So to do this, because we know that critical minerals are important for the new age industries. What are the new age industries? New age industries like electric vehicle industry. New age industries are like solar panel industries. New age industries also are in the field of mobile phones or semiconductor based industries. So in these industries, we require critical minerals. And for that, critical mineral mission to innovate, to promote domestic production, to recycle, and to do the overseas acquisition. Why we will do overseas acquisition? Because the critical minerals availability in our country is at a limited scale as of now. So our dependence on other countries actually to get the import from other countries is used. And to do this and to make our industry safe, we have to secure the overseas acquisition of minerals, and that's why this policy is going to do it. Strengthening of the tribunal and appellate tribunal to speed up the insolvency resolution. You must know that insolvency and bankruptcy code was initiated to help solve the bankruptcy problem of the companies. When the companies actually go to the bankruptcy, then whatever assets that they have are sold, and sold to all those people actually who can run them in scale or run them better. But when a time passes, and after that time period actually the value of these assets die down. So the insolvency and bankruptcy code has been a very big step, or has been helpful to not only achieve the bankruptcy related troubleshooting, but also to help achieve the resolution of the particular companies. When these companies actually go to the bankruptcy in a time bound manner, then their assets can fetch better prices, and the banks who have given them the loans can be taken care of. When the banks also take these loans by selling those assets, then their NPA levels also are very lesser. So this IBC, now certain functional challenges of the IPC are also going to be met. So strengthening of the tribunal and appellate tribunal. You must know national company law tribunals are those tribunals which are taking into consideration the IBC related provisions, and there is a huge backlog on NCLT. So to reduce the backlog, additional tribunals and appellate tribunals can be set up, strengthened. Then internship opportunities. A scheme for providing internship opportunities in 500 top companies will be done to 1 crore youth in 4 years, 5 years. What it will do is, it will, number one, allow those youth to go into the 500 top performing companies and understand the environment there, understand what are the skill set those are required. If they do the internship there, then they will understand and they will also become talented into that particular skill. And once these skills are acquired by these people, the industry actually can employ those people. So this is going to solve that particular employability crisis. Then allowance of 5,000 rupees per month along with the one-time assistance of 6,000 rupees through the CSR fund is also going to be taken into consideration. Then we come on to the next one, and that is urban development. You see, urban development for India is necessary because the larger population is now getting urbanized. According to 2011 caste census, we had around 33% of our country living in urban areas. But when we'll have a fresh census, as and when it is considered, so the urbanized areas actually will become more. And future of the high income job priorities or livelihood conditions in urban areas is better as compared to the rural areas. So we are trying to make urban development a key issue, and for that certain steps are being taken. So those steps are like encouraging states to lower the stamp duty so that whatever the property those are purchased by women can be lowered. Street markets means there will be envisioned a scheme to develop 100 weekly hearts or street food hubs in the select cities. What it will do is, it will not only promote actually the street business, but also will employ people. Transit oriented development program will be also done in 14 large cities with population that is about 30 lakh rupees. Water management to promote water supply, sewage treatment and solid waste management project and services for 100 large cities through the bankable projects will also be taken into consideration. Then comes the housing needs. So Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana 2.0 will start, urban 2.0, and it will fulfill the needs of 1 crore urban poor and middle class families, and a total outlay of 10 lakh crore rupees has been devoted or dedicated towards this effort. Enabling policies and regulation for efficient and transparent rental housing market with enhanced availability will also be taken into consideration. As I told you, for industrial workers, we are also doing the same for the dormitory type of things. We are also doing the same in the case of other rental based housing. So people who are living in the urban areas, number one, they get a cost effective rental housing. Number two, those houses which are remaining dormant or are ghost buildings, the infrastructure can be better utilized by the other people. So this is the scheme that is being taken into consideration. Then comes the energy security. And energy security, to achieve energy security, initiative with private sector in nuclear energy. You must know nuclear energy is the renewable energy sector, and to improve the renewable energy, we must also make sure that whatever the renewable energies are there are taken into more sustainable and environmentally friendly manner, and that's why nuclear energy is being talked about. So we will set up Bharat Small Reactors, research and development of Bharat Small Modular Reactor and newer technologies for nuclear energy will also be taken into consideration. Pumped storage. With renewable energy, the biggest problem is the storage. Suppose say in the morning or in the day period, we have the solar energy that is being created, but it cannot be supplied or relied upon when there is a lesser sunlight or as a nighttime period. So to remove this issue, pumped storage policy is being taken or talked about for electricity storage and facilitation of a smooth integration of the growing share of the renewable energy. Then AUSC thermal power plants, a joint venture between NTPC and BHEL will be set up at full scale at 800 megawatt commercial plant. Then there will be energy audits, financial support for shifting of micro and small industries to cleaner forms of energy, and facilitating investment grade energy audits in 60 clusters, and the next phase will expand to the 100 clusters. We will now move on to the Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, and in that what we are trying to achieve is the free electricity for 1 crore household that can obtain this up to 300 units every month, and 1.28 crore registrations and 14 lakh applications have been received so far. So these are in the energy sector requirement. Now infrastructure etc we will deal within the next chapter, because the lecture will become larger, and to understand and grasp these it will become little bit difficult. So we will stop here, and tomorrow we will again come and deliver the rest part of the lecture. Thank you.